Hello students, welcome to Edupedia Word Videos. My topic for the presentation is 7th section of the chapter Transport in Plants. In this section of the video, we will be discussing about the xylem and wood Cork Cambium. Okay, I've already taught you about the xylem and its cell type in my previous section of the presentation. Here I'll give you the overview of developmental stages of xylem and wood and Cork Cambium. Okay, so just recall photosynthesis. See, this is basic photosynthesis wherein leaf they prepare their own food with the help of light energy which is emitted from sun. Okay, so how does water get absorbed from soil into and move around the plant? See. And how does food get from leaves to the other parts of a plant? Have you ever wondered? So, phloem is involved in conduction of food material from leaf to the other parts of a plant body, whereas xylem it is involved in the conduction of water and mineral ion from roots to the upper part of a plant body. Okay, so herein we will be discussing about the xylem, which is a main conducting tissue and which is complex in nature. It is also called as heterogeneous tissue because it is made up of 4 type of cells, which I have already taught you in my previous section of the presentation. You can refer to that for better understanding. Okay, so xylem is a long hollow tube which extends from root to the leaves. Okay, and structure, it is dead tissue. It is long and empty lumen. Lumen is, you can say that it is hollow from inside. Okay, walls they are thickened, they are strengthened with lignin deposition. Okay, so main role of xylem is water transport, and another additional function of xylem is to provide mechanical support. For example, secondary xylem, it provides mechanical support. Okay, now we'll talk about the developmental stage of xylem. As you can see that this is tracheid with the tapering ends, then it gets converted into xylem vessel, which is like a long hollow tube. Okay, so xylem tissue contains xylem cells, which are also called as tracheids and xylem vessels. Students, I have already taught you about xylem cells in my previous section of the presentation, so I won't be repeating it again because in this lecture we'll be focusing on the wood and Cork Cambium formation. Okay, but I'm giving you an overview of xylem so that it becomes clear to you. Tracheids. Tracheids are the xylem cells. They are long, they are tapered cells with pitted walls. Pitted walls means it has pores that transport material upwards. And at maturity, lignin deposition is seen at the cell wall, and the tracheids it gradually dies. And no cytoplasm and no protoplasm is seen in tracheids. Then comes another cell, and that is xylem vessel, which is long, continuous. As you can see, it is non-living hollow tube. It has no cytoplasm, and walls they are strengthened by lignin. See, this is the wall which is deposited with lignin, and these are the lignin rings. Okay, so xylem vessels they are essentially mature stage tracheids, you can say. I repeat, xylem vessels they are essentially mature stage tracheids. Lignin. What is lignin? As you can see, these are the lignin rings which are present in xylem vessel. So lignin is hard and rigid substance. It is named after Latin word which is called as lignum. Lignum means wood. Lignin may be deposited in different ways that give rise to annular, spiral and pitted xylem vessels. I have already taught you about the secondary cell wall thickness which are present in xylem vessel in my previous section of the presentation. That is 6th section of the chapter Transport in Plants. You can refer to it for better understanding. Okay, so this is xylem. The main function of xylem is to conduct water and dissolved mineral from root to the other parts of a plant body, and additional significance is to provide mechanical support to the plant due to presence of lignin. Okay. Now there are two adaptations of xylem that have a continuous lumen without any protoplasm within to hinder transport of water and dissolved materials or minerals. It has lignified walls which prevent collapse of the vessel. Okay, so these are the two adaptations of xylem. Xylem, which later forms wood. Okay, so this is xylem vessel, and this is xylem tracheid. Okay, and this is xylem fiber. Xylem vessel, it has perforation plate. Okay, so herein we'll study about the wood and hydrome. So the main function of xylem is to transport water and mineral, or it helps in the conduction of water and mineral from root to the upper part of a plant body. Another significance of xylem is that it provides mechanical strength to the plant body. So there are four types of cells. First is tracheids. This is tracheid. This is vessel, which is another type of a xylem. Okay, and please note that trachea or vessels, they are same. That means vessel is also called as trachea. So don't get confused with trachea and tracheids. They both are different. This is one type of xylem cell, and this is another type of xylem cell. Okay, now third is xylem fiber, which is represented by this yellow and red color. Then fourth type of xylem cell is Xylem Parenchyma. So this is Xylem Parenchyma, which are angular in shape. Okay, so this is the transverse section of xylem. Xylem, these are the tracheids that have elongated tubular cells with tapering ends. Okay, as you can see that it has tapering ends, and they are dead at maturity due to lignin deposition. Because of the lignin deposition, they are dead, or they are sclerenchymatous fibers. They are main water conducting elements in pteridophytes and in gymnosperms. Okay, tracheids. Now we'll talk about the secondary cell wall thickening which are present in tracheid. So this is the longitudinal section of xylem, wherein lignin rings are there, which are placed on more or less at equal distances from each other. So this is called as annular thickening, which is present in tracheid. Now we'll talk about another thickening which is called as spring or helix thickening, wherein it is present in the form of ring-like structure. Okay, then comes reticulate thickening, wherein it forms this is lignin. Okay, so lignin, it forms a mesh-like network, and this is ladder-like, which is called as scalariform, wherein lignin is arranged in the form of ladder-like. And then comes small pores, wherein small pores, they are arranged at the lateral sides. Okay, so these five are the secondary cell wall thickenings which are present in tracheids. First is annular, second is spiral, and third is reticulate, fourth is scalariform, and fifth is pitted. Okay, now we'll talk about the xylem vessel, which is another crucial cell of xylem. Xylem vessel is also called as trachea. So don't get confused with tracheid. Tracheid and trachea, they both are different. Xylem vessel, they are characteristic features of angiosperms. See, this is xylem vessel. It has elongated tubular cell. Many vessel elements, they are placed end to end. As you can see that they are placed one above the other, or you can say they are placed end to end. Okay, they have transverse wall which are perforated. As you can see, these are the small pores. So transverse walls of xylem vessel, it is perforated. Walls are lignified but relatively less thick. So xylem vessel walls, they are highly lignified. That means high lignin deposition is there, but relatively it is less thick. Then we'll talk about the lumen, which is also called as cell cavity. This is cell cavity which is wider than tracheids. Okay, so that's the difference you can see, and it is not found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms, unlike tracheids, which is found in pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Trachea are of two types, which are those: first is protoxylem and second is metaxylem. So protoxylem is first formed xylem, and metaxylem it is later formed xylem. It is made up of small xylem vessels, whereas metaxylem it is made up of larger xylem vessel. Protoxylem it shows annular or spiral thickening. Metaxylem it shows reticulate, scalariform or pitted thickening. Now we'll talk about another cell of xylem, and that is called as xylem fiber. And Xylem Parenchyma is fourth type of cell. So first we'll talk about the xylem fiber. It is sclerenchymatous elongated cell. It is a spindle shaped cells that has tapering ends. It is also called as wood fibers, and it is highly lignified, and thus it provides mechanical support to the plant body. Now we'll talk about the xylem parenchyma. It is parenchymatous cell, unlike xylem fiber, which is sclerenchymatous cell. It helps in the lateral conduction of water and mineral. It also stores food. Now, do you know about the wood and Cork Cambium, students? See, this is hardwood and this is sapwood. This is vascular cambium and this is living phloem. Living phloem and peridum, they together make bark. Peridum consists of Cork Cambium and cork. So this is Cork Cambium and this is cork. Okay, so together Cork Cambium and cork give rise to peridum, whereas living phloem together with peridum it forms bark of a tree. Thus, secondary growth in steel it results in the formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Due to the addition of these tissue, there is an increase in the girth of a steel. Okay, students, as secondary growth continues to occur, several changes takes place in secondary xylem. And in a much older stem, the secondary xylem, which is also called as wood, it shows two regions which are mainly called as Duramen and Alburnum. So this is Duramen and this is Alburnum. Duramen is center part and Alburnum are the outer rings. And this is the secondary wood that shows annual rings, which is called as Duramen and Alburnum. Now Duramen is also known as heartwood, students, that represents centrally located inactive portion of secondary xylem. As you can see, the Duramen is present in the center. So it is centrally located and it represents inactive portion of a secondary xylem. It appears very dark in color due to the accumulation of pigment that results from oxidation of organic compounds like oils and tannins. That's why it is darker in color as compared to Alburnum. And please note that Duramen, it is incapable of conducting water because it has accumulation of pigment resulting from oxidation of organic compound like oils and tannin. It is incapable of conducting water and it provides only mechanical support to the trees. It is this part of a secondary xylem that is used as commercial wood. So commercial wood is what? It is Duramen, which is also called as heartwood. Okay. Now we'll talk about the Alburnum. Alburnum is also called as sapwood, that represents peripheral active portion of secondary xylem. This portion is still capable of conducting water, unlike Duramen, which is non-conducting in nature, and due to its meager mechanical strength and lack of durability, sapwood cannot serve as commercial wood. Okay, so Duramen is also called as hardwood. It acts as commercial wood, whereas Alburnum is also called as sapwood, and it cannot serve as commercial wood because it is still capable of conducting water and it has a meager mechanical strength and lack of durability. Okay, that's the reason that it cannot be served as with commercial wood. The cells of sapwood, they are living and they are functional, and they take part in conduction of water and the storage of food. The heartwood consists of dead cells. During the growth process, the rings of sapwood gradually process and the ring of sapwood gradually converted into heartwood. Okay, I repeat, during the growth process, the ring of sapwood, which is also called as Alburnum, it gradually process and the ring of sapwood gradually convert into heartwood, which is also called as Duramen, which serves as commercial wood. The living cells of sapwood lose their protoplast and water content, and the lumen of Xylem Vessel, it get blocked by ingrowth of parenchyma cells. The adjacent parenchyma tissue, it enters through the pits of a vessel, and it gradually enlarges to form a balloon-like structure, which is called as tylosis. Because of the tylosis, the characteristic odor of wood comes, okay, and the heartwood is stronger and more durable than sapwood, okay, because of its mechanical strength. The heartwood, it becomes resistant to the attack of bacteria and fungi due to the presence of antiseptic oils. Now we'll talk about the wood. This is pith, which is the central portion. This is the vascular cambium, okay. This is primary xylem, which is represented by this pink color. This is metaxylem. These smaller ones are the protoxylem. In spring season, larger number of xylem vessel with wider cavities are formed. So that's why it is called as early wood. See, this is spring or early wood. Larger number of xylem vessels with wider cavity. See, it has a wider cavity, okay, and it has large diameter. Okay, so this forms early wood. And in winter season, fewer, that means very less number of xylem vessel with narrow cavities are found, which is called as autumn or late wood. Okay, so this is early wood and this is autumn or late wood. Okay, so this is how it is. It goes on. See, this is again spring wood. This is again late wood or autumn wood. Okay, so this is how it is formed. And it is lighter in color, spring wood, and it is darker in color, autumn or late wood. Density of spring or early wood is lower, whereas it has more density, autumn wood or late wood. See, these are the annual rings. And dendrochronology is the study of these annual rings to know the age of a tree. Okay, in old trees, this is the central region that does not conduct water and minerals, and it is dark due to the deposition of tannin, oil, resin, and ergastic substances or aromatic oils. Okay, and it is very hard, very durable because of the good mechanical strength, and it is resistant to microbes and insects. And this is hardwood, which is peripheral region. It is lighter in color. It conducts water and mineral, and that is sapwood. Okay, I have already taught you the difference between two wood, that is hardwood, which is also called as Duramen, and sapwood, which is also called as Alburnum. Okay, so this was all about it. Okay, so stay tuned for more awesome video lectures. Thank you.